Since the launch of Sputnik 1, nearly all space exploration has been performed not by humans but through inorganic probes. From the tremendous forces experienced during a rocket launch to the extreme cold and the vacuum of space, these devices must be engineered to survive in conditions unlike anything found on Earth. These same considerations must be made for humans too before we can travel long distances through space. Although we seem to have figured out how to put the basic needs of survival, like food, water, and oxygen, in orbit, it seems that life in space comes with a number of unintended consequences on our bodies. Even on short-term missions to the International Space Station, which lies in low Earth orbit, astronauts experience rapid muscle degeneration. This has to be counteracted by a vigorous daily workout routine, which often incorporates elastic bands to pull the astronauts down to a surface like a treadmill, simulating gravity. Much more worrisome than muscle loss is the fact that the bones also become weaker. According to a study published in Bone on October 2016, 3 test subjects in microgravity lost up to 250 milligrams of bone calcium per day. This is because the absence of weight on the bones due to microgravity caused the bones to release calcium, which resulted in a decrease in bone density. These effects even continued after they returned to Earth. For 3 months after landing, they regained bone calcium, but at a much slower rate of 100 milligrams per day. Bones which bear the most weight on Earth, like the tibia or the lower vertebrae, tend to degenerate the most quickly. If gone unchecked, this rapid decalcification of bone might prove to be dangerous when astronauts endure the stress of re-entering the atmosphere and landing, and might put them at increased risk of bone fracture while they adjust to life back in gravity. A whole slew of health risks come not as a result of microgravity, but from harmful radiation, most of which comes from the sun. Despite heavy radiation shields on the International Space Station, astronauts are subject to nearly 10 times the normal amount of radiation experienced by you or I every day on Earth. This radiation damages DNA chemically. It creates charged particles which react with and alter the genetic code. This damage ranges from breaks in the DNA double strands themselves to deletions or duplications of entire chromosome sections. Fortunately, the cells do have proteins called repair enzymes that constantly work to correct any errors in DNA. However, a study published in Nature Partner Journal's Microgravity in 2017 showed that these enzymes tend to work less effectively in microgravity. Repair enzymes can sometimes cause further damage themselves by making mistakes during their attempt to fix radiation damage, which further corrupts the damaged genes. Even space travelers as conditioned as astronauts aren't able to escape the effects of space travel on their sleep schedules. When not on Earth, the concepts of day and night don't truly exist, and the sun does not rise and set in the familiar 24-hour pattern our bodies have evolved to. Irregularities in a sleep schedule have been shown to weaken the immune system and increase a person's level of fatigue. When out in space for a prolonged period of time, astronauts are susceptible to dangerous bursts of radiation, which either erupt out of solar flares in our own sun or come from distant stellar phenomena such as supernovae. These radiation bursts are especially dangerous due to their unpredictability. Being caught by one of these bursts without proper radiation shielding would almost certainly be fatal, and if a person was lucky enough to survive more than a few weeks after being exposed to that level of radiation, they would likely suffer from intense organ damage, especially in their gastrointestinal tract and liver, not to mention the advanced risk of cancer in the coming years. Before space tourism can become viable on a large scale, serious considerations must be made about how to reduce these risks imposed by microgravity and radiation, which can have serious health impacts long after a person returns to Earth. Increased funding towards the existing space programs will allow this crucial research to continue to take place, and eventually, safe, long-term space travel might become a reality.